Hello, this is Mocha Product Manager Martin Brennand, and welcome to this quick tutorial on using a hack in the Remove module to speed up rendering performance by about 10 times. So this hack can be done in any of the Mocha programs, either the standalone or in the plugins, such as here I'm in Premiere, and it can be done with either Mocha Pro or Mocha VR. You get the same results. So first up, I'm going to load Mocha, and we're going to go through what the usual remove process is. So here we are inside the Mocha interface, and we've got two layers. We've got our foreground garbage matte, and we've got our background tracked layer. Now, I'm not going to go through the remove process today, because there's plenty of tutorials on that. I'm also not going to go through the general optimization techniques. You can check out our tutorial called Remove Module Optimization for checking out the general optimizations you can do in Remove. But the big one that we're going to do today is a hack that involves using clean plates, but not in the way that you would normally expect. So first up, let's just turn off our surface here, and we'll go over to the Remove module. I'm going to go to the beginning of my shot, and we're going to start rendering forwards, and we're going to see what the speed of this is when we've just got our search range and our frames before and our frames after setup. And you can also see here I'm using illumination modeling set to linear. So I'm going to render forwards. And that's going to have a think, and you can see here it's working out the first frame. And then it's going to start rendering forwards. And you can see here that it's taking about a second or two per frame to render out this result. And I've done this before, and the render actually takes approximately 6.5 minutes to finish the render. Now, that's a little while, but it's also saving you a huge amount of time that you would have to normally do patching and color correcting this yourself. But we can vastly improve this just by doing a little trick. So I've stopped the render, and I'm just going to close and not save that. And this time we're going to go in and do exactly the same thing. So I'm going to go back inside Mocha. And this time I'm going to select my foreground object, move over to the Remove module, and this time I'm just going to render a single frame, just like so. So it's going to still think about it, it's going to clean her out of the shot once we've done that first processing frame, and that takes a little while, but then we've got this first frame cleaned out. Now, what I'm going to do with the remove render selected is I'm going to come down to my clean plate clip and simply click Create. And we're going to save that clean plate, and now we have a clean plate sitting in our frame 74, which is the beginning of our shot here, and that's been saved to our clean plate directory. So now that we have this, I'm going to come to the end of my shot. Let's just go back to the original shot. Come to the end of my shot. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to render a frame. Like so. And I'm going to create a clean plate there. And then finally, I'm just going to come into the middle. And I need to switch back to my original shot so I can see this. I'm going to come to about the middle where we've got about the middle of the pan here, which is about here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to render. And it's been cleaned out here as well. So let's go ahead and create here in the same place. So now if we go back to our edit dialog, we can see we've got 3 clean plates. Now this is overkill. I could have just done a start and an end, but I wanted to be sure that I've got everything, so I created a middle plate. So here's the big trick. We come down here, we click Use Clean Plates Exclusively, and now Mocha is only going to reference these 3 clean plates when it's doing the remove. And we're still going to be using the linear animation, it's still going to be searching those frames, but when we now render forwards, you're going to see the difference. Now it's rendering very quickly. In fact, the render will probably complete by the time I've finished talking. So what's happening here? What we've done is we've rendered out and cleaned out the shot at the beginning, the middle, and end. We haven't had to go out of Photoshop because we're getting Mocha to do the work for us, but the little pause that we take just to render those beginning, end, and middle frames is enough to now make the performance of this go much faster. In fact, this is about 11 times faster than the original shot. So this usually takes about 6.5 minutes, as I said before, but this render takes approximately 36 seconds. So you can see the vast improvement there just by me talking, how quickly we got through this shot just by creating those 3 clean plates. Now, of course, there are some limitations to this technique. Here, I'm using a simple pan, so the clean plate creation method is actually quite simple. If your shot is changing over time quite considerably, you may need to either create more clean plates, or maybe the clean plate method will not work for you, but you just need to do it on a shot-per-shot basis, and you'll know which ones will help with the performance and which ones won't. The other thing with this technique is you are probably going to need to use illumination modeling. In this case, because we're using a static frame at the beginning, the middle, and the end, I'm using a linear because that will capture any lighting change that's happening over time. If you've got a shot that has sort of flickering or changing light, you may need to use interpolated rendering, which is slower, but not as slow as referencing every single frame. Finally, please do be aware of your frames before and frames after, and your step values when using clean plates. If your frames before and frames after are not looking far enough back or ahead to where a clean plate resides, you may start to see your object you're trying to remove reappear because it doesn't have enough information to grab. And that's the same with the step value. If you've got a clean plate on frame 5, but your step is set to, say, 6, it may skip over a clean plate because it doesn't see it in the step values. So just be aware of those parameters and what the clean plates are doing. And of course, that performance translates back to the host if you're using the plugin, or when you're rendering out in the standalone. So everything I've shown you here today also translates naturally over to the Mocha VR plugin, and especially in Mocha VR where you're doing those long rig removals over thousands of frames in very large shots, this performance improvement technique will really assist you in getting those shots out the door. So that is our clean plate performance hack for the Remove module in Mocha Pro and Mocha VR. If you've got any questions, please do go to the website at imagineersystems.com. This has been Mocha Product Manager Martin Brennand. Thank you very much, and goodbye.